News came out last week that Andrew Wiggins reportedly signed a $146.5 million contract extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, that's just crazy in a good way. Think about it. Imagine having that in your pocket at the age of 22 years old. And now with the collective bargaining agreement, players are getting paid way more money than we've usually seen them get paid over the years in the NBA. Depending on how long a player has played in the league, that determines how much percent of the cap they make. In this video, I'll be explaining if Andrew deserved the extension or not. It's Third Eye View 195 coming at you with my intellect. Stay tuned. Andrew Wiggins was drafted number 1 by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2014 NBA draft. He was the second Canadian player in NBA history to be drafted number 1, right behind his fellow Canadian Anthony Bennett was drafted number 1 in the previous year in 2013, also by the Cleveland Cavaliers. On July the 24th in 2014, Andrew signed his rookie scale contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then a month later, he was suddenly involved in a 3-team trade between the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Philadelphia 76ers. Anthony Bennett and Andrew were traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves and Thaddeus Young as well, even though he was on the Philadelphia 76ers at the time. The Cleveland Cavaliers received Kevin Love from the Timberwolves, and the 76ers got Luc Mbah-a-Moute and Alexei Shved from the Timberwolves, including a 2015 first-round draft pick from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Andrew played his first game on October the 29th in 2014 against the Memphis Grizzlies, and he also started. He never dominated in his first game. He only played 18 minutes. He scored 6 points, had 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 assist. The Timberwolves lost 105-101. That's okay because it was only his first game. Not every rookie that's drafted number 1 will dominate like LeBron in their first game. In LeBron's first game, he scored 25 points, shot 12 for 20 from the field, and had 9 assists. Things drastically changed after Andrew's first game. He started dominating. He won the Rookie of the Month for November. He also won the Western Conference Rookie of the Month for December. In December 2014, he averaged 14.1 points per game and 4.1 rebounds per game. He won the Rookie of the Month for January as well. He also won the Rookie of the Month in February 2015. He was the first player to win the Rookie of the Month for 4 straight months since the 2012 to 2013 season. The only other player to do this was Damian Lillard. He led out rookies in scoring, free throw attempts, and minutes per game. His best game as a rookie came against the same team that traded him, the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was a statement game for him. He showed them why they shouldn't have traded him. He scored 33 points, shot 14 for 25 from the field, which is 56%, and had 4 steals, but the Timberwolves lost. During the All-Star Weekend in 2015, Andrew participated in Friday night's event on February the 13th, called the Rising Stars Challenge, where the rookies and sophomores that aren't born in the US play on the World Team, and the rookie and sophomores that are from the US play on the USA Team. Andrew won the MVP after scoring 22 points for Team World. Team World won 121-112 over Team United States. Andrew was awarded the Rookie of the Year on April the 30th for being the best rookie for the 2014 to 2015 NBA season. During his rookie season, he averaged 16.9 points per game, 1 steal per game, 0.6 blocks per game, 2.1 assists per game, and 4.6 rebounds per game, shooting 31% from the 3-point line and 43.7% from the field, playing 36.2 minutes per game. Andrew also set a franchise rookie record for the Timberwolves for scoring 20 points in 6 straight games. Andrew continued to dominate in his sophomore season. On November the 7th in 2015, he scored 31 points, which was a game high, and the Timberwolves went on to win the game over the Chicago Bulls 102-93. 2 days later, on November the 9th, 2015, he tied his career high in points. He scored 33 points against the Atlanta Hawks. The Timberwolves won the game 117-107. This was the first time he scored 30 points back-to-back in his career. On December the 18th, 2015, he scored 32 points, had 10 rebounds and 6 assists against the Sacramento Kings. The Timberwolves won 99-95. Andrew became the 4th player in NBA history to score 30 points, have 10 rebounds, and dish out 5 or more assists in a game since 2000, at the age of 20 years old or younger. The only other players to do this were Tobias Harris, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. Andrew scored another career high on January the 8th, 2016, against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He scored 35 points, but the Timberwolves lost. Andrew also became the 4th youngest player to reach 3,000 points. Other players to do this were Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James. On November the 8th, 2016, he scored another career high. He scored 36 points and hit 6 3-pointers in the game against the Brooklyn Nets. The Timberwolves won 119-110. 5 days after the Brooklyn Nets game, he scored another career high. He scored 47 points against the Los Angeles Lakers. The Timberwolves won the game 125-99. He was the first-born Canadian NBA player to ever score 40 or more points in a game. Earlier on this year, last season, on February the 14th, he scored 41 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the Timberwolves lost 116-108. He scored 40 points the day after on February the 15th against the Denver Nuggets, and the Timberwolves won 112-99. He's the second player in Minnesota Timberwolves franchise history to have back-to-back 40-point games. 9 days after, he scored 27 points against the Dallas Mavericks. The Timberwolves won 97-89. 84. He scored more than 20 points per game for 19 games in a row. He broke the Minnesota Timberwolves franchise record, but it got snapped against the San Antonio Spurs. In my opinion, Andrew deserves the max contract extension because he's already a star in this league and he could potentially be a superstar. Every year he improves, as you can see, and like I explained before, he accomplished many things in his first 3 years in the NBA. I've always said this and I swear on everything I love. He has the potential and skill sets to be greater than Kobe. I know this is going to get a lot of Kobe fans mad, but it's the truth. Andrew's first 3 years in the league is way better than Kobe's first 3 years. Even in Kobe's 4th season, he never averaged as much points as Andrew averaged this past season. Before you say something about what I just said, take this in. You can say Andrew ended up in an easier situation than Kobe, which is true because Kobe ended up on the Lakers, a team that made it to the playoffs the previous season before Kobe's arrival in 1996, and the Lakers also made it to the playoffs even when Kobe was there in his rookie season in 1997, after being traded by the Charlotte Hornets in the 1996 NBA draft. Even the Charlotte Hornets made it to the NBA playoffs the previous year in 1996 before Kobe was drafted, and the next season in 1997 in Kobe's rookie season. So either team Kobe ended up on, he would still be going to a playoff team. The Minnesota Timberwolves never made it to the playoffs in 13 years. That's currently the longest drought in the NBA. Minnesota will definitely make it to the playoffs this upcoming season after adding Jimmy Butler, Taj Gibson, Jamal Crawford, and Jeff Teague, with a coach like Tom Thibodeau to pair with the young talent of Andrew Wiggins himself and Karl Anthony Towns. And to be honest, there's less pressure on a player coming straight out of high school, in my opinion, because there's less national attention on you. You can still have a lot of national attention on you in high school, especially now living in the internet age known as the social media era, but it's more for scouts to focus on seeing you play more than the fans, because there's a lot of high school standouts in the nation, not just one. There's European phenoms that we don't know of because we don't pay attention to them. We usually pay attention to what's in America, that's what I mean. But the attention triples when you're playing on the college and university level in America, which is the NCAA. If anything, Andrew had more pressure on him being the #1 draft pick. Kobe was the 13th pick, and usually the 13th pick falls under the radar. The #1 draft pick doesn't. There's so much expectations that come with being drafted #1. No disrespect, but look at the #1 draft picks like Anthony Bennett and Kwame Brown. They never lived up to the expectation of a #1 overall pick. Andrew has. And Andrew carries Canada on his back. He's been projected to be the next Canadian hope since a really young age. That's a lot of pressure right there. To carry a whole country on your back, especially a country that's looked down upon on the basketball level, Canada's just known for being a hockey country. Also, playing on a level like the NCAA, it exposes your game more, and people know what to expect more from you as a player. A high school player falling under the radar can be a blessing because you can be like a fish out of water and start dominating out of nowhere because, like I said before, there's no expectation. Andrew has to definitely play on an even higher level now after signing this contract extension because the expectation got even higher, and he said he's worth nothing less than a max deal in the summer, so it's all up to him to improve his game even more now. Andrew does need to get better defensively on the NBA level. Earlier on in high school and college, he was a solid defender, but in the NBA he isn't, and like they all say, the NBA is a big boys game, so you have to come correct. Over time, in my opinion, he'll get back to what he was defensively, like he was in high school and in the NCAA, because Minnesota getting Jimmy Butler, one of the best defenders in the league, will teach him a lot defensively on the NBA level. Plus, Jimmy Butler's a veteran, and we all know how much of a defensive coach Tom Thibodeau is. If he's not one of the best defensive coaches in the league, he's the best. Things will come together, trust me, everyone will see. If I was an owner, I would invest in a talent like Andrew as well. Andrew's the second highest paid Canadian-born athlete in Canadian history, behind the baseball player Joey Votto, who was also born in Canada. He's from Toronto. 5 years ago on April the 2nd, 2012, he signed a $225 million deal with the Cincinnati Reds. But that's it for the video, guys. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification button. Comment below and tell me what you think. Do you think this is good for the Minnesota Timberwolves or bad? Peace!
I barely got no bars 'cause I ain't tryna sell. Bare hypocrisy on the track, boy. Can't you tell? I don't fail. And if I do, then the lesson's worth it. Keep my circle tight like if I only mess with virgins.